Hi everyone, I'm really excited to see you today, and I'm gonna share with you the basics of CSS Grid. I've created this pen here, link in the description, on how we can use CSS Grid. So we have a section here on which we apply the display grid property. As you can see, just by using display grid, we already have a grid here. The thing is that the grid only has one column, and this gap is used in order to add gaps between cells. And we've added a margin of 2 rem also. The other thing that we've added is the background color yellow for our paragraphs. So what's the next step that we can do after applying display grid? Well, in order to define columns, we just need to add the property grid template columns. And here we have different units. So FR is for fraction. One fraction is 1 out of a total. That's here. And we can also define absolute values here. And if we want to have 3 responsive columns of the same size, we just need to add grid template columns, 1 FR, 1 FR, and 1 FR. So what we want here is 3 columns of the same size. And alternatively, we can just say, I want 3 columns of 1 fraction each. The next step for us would be how to span our cells. So here we have the first row. Here we have the second element spanning on 2 rows. And the way we did that is by saying we want 2 columns of 1 fraction each. And for the second paragraph, that is child of a section, I want its grid row to span 2. So now the row of this element spans on 2 rows, as you can see here. This is our grid, and our element, the second one, spans on 2 rows. The next thing that I will show you is this element with a fixed first column width and a column span of 2. So what we've done is that we've defined the grid template columns to be, I want the first column to be 120 pixels wide, and what's left is 1 fraction. This will take the rest of the space. What we said is that I want the first element to span its column on 2 columns. And so that's how we achieve this layout. So next, let's see how to get a column count based on the width of the viewport. Here, in this responsive grid with AutoFit, what we've put in are these declarations. So what I put here is just, I want to repeat AutoFit for the column has to be a minimum of 250 pixels. Otherwise, it will span 1 fraction. And when it can have more columns, it will just get more columns. For example, if I resize the viewport here, and then the element won't be able to have 250 pixels of width anymore, it will change to just 1 column. But as soon as it has enough space, it will get 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns, and it can go all the way. Another way to do this is by using media queries. So media queries are awesome. So what we need to do is just write the rule media and then define the media type like screen, for example, or print. But here we won't define anything because we want to take all the media types into consideration. Then what's next here is the feature. So what we're saying is basically we want this rule to apply when the media has a width of at least 540 pixels. And so then we will have 2 columns. And here down here we say we want this rule to apply when the media is at least 800 pixels. And here we can see the result. Because the media is now above 800 pixels, we have 3 columns. But if I decrease the size, you can see that now we have 2 columns. And if I decrease the size below 540 pixels, then it will get only 1 column, as we've already defined before. So that's it about CSS Grid and media queries. Maybe we will go deeper into them later. I hope that did help you, and thank you for watching. See you in the next video.